Okay, my dear friends, here I am again. I really hope that it's going to be a last attempt before I upload it anywhere. So, a brief introduction. My name is Maria. I decided that it's necessary for me to do an extracurricular study that is namely called blockchain technology, AI, and quantum. And now I'm definitely not recording a 100th attempt into that little lecture of mine, but purely because of my stupidity and and that I'm unfamiliar with the software and the way how I can use it. So, whatever. This is going to be a start of a small series of videos that are meant to describe some of the topics we've been studying throughout the next 6 weeks. And today's main focus is going to be on centralized and decentralized ledgers. We're going to discuss what the ledgers are, what's the difference between these two. We'll briefly touch Bitcoin, I guess, and maybe some limitations and why did it happen and why is it happening. So once again it didn't work. I guess this time I will just ignore it and go to the next slide. So why did I choose this topic? So we had a little decision to make. We had 3 different topics that we discussed and that we can make a presentation about. But I decided that decentralized, like discussing the ledgers, is the very basic understanding that you have to have in order to then understand Bitcoin, to understand why it was even created, why is it this thing. And for me personally, just having that base in my mind, now I have a bit more elaborate and clear image of the cryptocurrencies and why is that happening. So this time didn't delete everything, so that's how we're coming to what a ledger is. A ledger, according to Oxford English Dictionary, is a book or other collection of financial accounts, which is obviously true, but also a library can be a ledger, or your phone with its memory, or even your brain is also some sort of a ledger. So basically we can say that the ledger is something that keeps a record of all the information, all the messages, either in their copy or original, in it, and you trust that ledger to keep this information, this data safe. And there are different kinds of ledgers, obviously, and we need to understand what's the difference between centralized and decentralized. And I will start with explaining what a centralized ledger is. So I actually already mentioned a couple of examples of how centralized ledger could look like. It's a library, it's a bank, and a bank is one of the largest centralized ledgers. Because basically what it does, it becomes a third trusted party between 2 entities, 2 people, 2 companies, whatever, that we don't need to trust each other anymore, but we trust our bank. And it holds the record of all our information. It manages this information and sets the rules, basically. And that's how we know that we are secure. That's how, because we know that this third party has rules, we know the rules and we trust them, and that's how we build that consensus between 2 parties without building the trust between them, because we just have a third party in between us. And to visualize this example, let's just talk about me being very tired while recording this video, and thinking that I want to boost my mental energy. I want to reconnect with nature. I want to build up my aura and whatever. I decided to find a yoga guru, and I found one, and he lives in America. He does those video calls with you, and he helps you to, I don't know, hit a yoga pose, whatever. And I don't know the dude. I see this blinding smile. I see those peace signs, transcendental look. But do I trust the guy? Do I trust the image? Maybe there's at least an AI generated guy and some scammer hides behind the picture. I don't know. That's why I go to my bank. And the guy, if he is real, of course, when he books that time slot for me, well, basically he also has to trust me to book the time slot. But he can't because he doesn't know me, so he trusts the bank. He trusts the transaction that goes through. And that is how we know that, well, we are a real deal. In the case of decentralized ledger, you don't need the bank. Basically, between me and yoga guru, there is, I don't know, my friend Anna, my friend Boris, guru's friend, I don't know, Buggy, whatever. I don't make assumptions. I just take some names from my mind. Christina, also guru's friend. And they all look at our transactions. They see that how many those coins, virtual coins I have to transfer to my yoga guru. My friends see that he actually exists and that he, I don't know, doesn't scam me or didn't scam any other nodes or other entities, other people before me. And we all have a record of transactions behind each of us. And this transparency also creates some sort of a trust because it is the data cannot be overwritten or deleted, and therefore we have this immutable record that ensures security to us. Also, this system, these transactions, cryptocurrencies, decentralized ledger, it is fully controlled not by one single entity, but by a protocol, by math, by some rules that are preset. And once again, we trust the rules, we trust the protocol, but we don't need one single controlling thing to rule the rules, to rule our information. We are fully owning, let's say, our transactions, and that what makes the difference between centralized and decentralized ledger. But yeah, as I just said, that basically that's what's the difference. But also, why would you care, right? You already have your bank card. Why would you also open a crypto wallet? Why would you? And well, that's fair question, because if I'm me living in the Netherlands, want to transfer some money for a grocery, my friend will just send me a ticket, and in a second I will lose, I don't know, another 20 euros for those groceries. And yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time. But in a decentralized ledger, this transaction would take minutes and minutes and minutes, and you don't want to wait in this case. But let's say my family, they live in a different country, and bank transfer would take days. It would take days, even if not weeks, to run the transaction, and the bank will take, even if it is 5, 7, 10%, it really does depend on the amount. Like 100 euros, okay, we can pay this 10% interest to a bank, but what is 10,000? It becomes not that convenient. And then, if my dad has a crypto wallet, if I have a crypto wallet, 30 minutes, we are done. That's what Bitcoin does. That's what a blockchain does. They create this opportunity for global scale transactions to be first fast, second efficient, and less secure. Of course, we live in a real world. Nothing can be perfect, but in some situations, in stable governments, in stable economical crises are unstable by definition, but whatever, forgive me here. Cryptocurrency or decentralized ledger might become a solution that we're looking for, because we don't need to trust a third party anymore. I don't need to trust a bank that, I don't know, has an inflation rate rising every year. I don't need to trust that third entity to transfer my money to another person or company or entity, whatever. I only trust the math, I only trust the rules, and I know that I own my own data, my money, and transparency. So, to sum it up, it all does depend on who you decide to trust the most, and take your risk. You're the one to choose your trap. And thank you very much for your attention here. I will wrap this presentation up as well. I'm sure that was an awful kind of video that you're now still saying, and I don't promise it gets better. I don't think it gets better, but we will see in the future. Thank you very much, and see you next time.